Alright, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Sa naman pong oras ninyo pinapanood itong record po na ito, recollect na ito. And this is the discussion of our laboratory procedures from experiment 6 to 10. Okay, so first let us discuss the experiments 6 to 7 of our laboratory. The title of experiment 6 is Comparative Study of the Properties and or of Organic and Inorganic Compounds. We will be reviewing again the terminologies such as organic chemistry, inorg-chem, inorganic compounds, and also the organic compounds. Let us recall again that when we are dealing with organic chemistry, tandaan po natin yung carbon. Yung compound ay may carbon, ito po ay nasa buhay ng mga nilalang, buhay ng mga likha, no? And the part of organic chemistry deals also on the substances such as hydrocarbons, alcohols, acids, and biomolecules. A good example are the methane and glucose. Okay? So, as we all know na pag sinabi po natin methane, tandaan po natin ha, itong methane ay under the category of hydrocarbons. When we say hydrocarbons, yung compound na ito in nature, meron siyang hydrogen at meron siyang carbon. Tama? And kapag nakabasa kayo or nakakita kayo ng mga terms ending with A and E and E, Y and E. Example, methane, methane, methane. Those are hydrocarbons and those are gases. Okay? And when we are dealing with glucose, look at the structural formula and the chemical formula. Ang ibig sabihin ng C6H12O6, yung glucose natin, if we perceive it through the lens of chemistry, the glucose or the sugar has 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens, and 6 oxygens. And if you noticed, there are 3 elements composing glucose: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The presence of CHO always indicates the compound is organic. And glucose is a type of sugar where we get energy. The body use glucose as a source of energy. Kailangan po yan ng katawan natin. Ito yung ibinibigay mo sa katawan para para magamit siya. Okay? Para magkaroon din po siya ng energy. Ito po yung example kung saan natin makukuha ang methane. Usok, gas. Okay? And of course, glucose. Hindi lang po glucose dyan, meron din pong mga fats, lipids, no? But any food, pwede namang maging source talaga yan ng glucose. Okay? Kasi po, tandaan po natin na yung glucose, ito lang yung pinaka or type ng sugar, no, na napakaliit at fit doon sa cells natin. Kaya nga itong mga ganitong ulam, kailangan mag-undergo yan ng tinatawag natin na mechanical and chemical digestion. Those are processes that break them down into the smallest unit known as the glucose. Inorg compounds do not contain carbon. those elements in the periodic table. Some of them. Metals, minerals. Example, oxides, chlorides, sulfates. Sodium chloride and water. Basta wala siyang carbon, matic, inorganic chem. So, ano naman ibig sabihin ng inorganic compounds? Okay? Wala yang carbon at hydrogen. Inorganic compounds, walang hydrogen or carbon. Kasama dyan sina asin, acids, bases, simple oxides. Okay? Usually, ito ay gawa sa mga minerals or dun sa mga hindi buhay na nilalang. Halimbawa, sodium chloride, water, CO2. Kasi hindi naman siya, okay? Sabi dito, it is classified as inorganic kasi gas naman siya. Okay? Even in the presence of that carbon. Okay? Matatawag lang siyang carbon if, or organic if hydrogen ang kasama to form hydrocarbon. Pero paano naman yan, sir, sa case ng carbon dioxide? Meron siyang carbon, pero hindi naman hydrogen. So, it's still classified as inorganic compounds. And opposite, of course, the organic compounds. Okay? May mga carbon, tapos nakakabit doon sa hydrogen. Sa mga buhay na nilalang ito, and of course, we have the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and plastics. Yung mga vitamina, okay? Yung mga nasa elements, periodic table of elements natin, those are examples of inorganic compounds. And inorganic compounds, dahil nga meron din mga charges yung mga yan, mahalaga po ito sa katawan natin kasi they balance also the cells of our body. 'Di ba? Ang mga inorganic, sila mismo yung nasa electrolytes natin. Ang role ni electrolytes natin, i-balance yung fluid sa katawan. Okay, we recall again the solubility. Of course, soluble na didissolve, insoluble hindi na didissolve. So, ano ba yung relevance niyan sa criminology? Para malaman natin yung mga hindi natin alam na mga substances. Okay? Ititest mo yung solvents, okay, based on their solubility. It describes how much of substances can dissolve in another solution, helps understand and control how the substance mix or separates. Ginagamit din ito sa pag-analyze ng drugs. In the experiment 6, we perform heating stability. Right? No? Ang purpose po kasi ng stability of heat is to measure the ability of a substance to resist decomposition when heated. Ginagamit po natin itong stability of heat, okay, in the chemical evidence that may have been exposed to fire or high temperatures. Gusto mo lang malaman, explosive ba itong bagay na to? O, gamitin natin ng heat stability. Makaka-survive ba siya sa init? It can withstand ba heat? Yun ang purpose niyan. So, kaya gumamit tayo doon sa procedure natin, hinihit natin yung mga inorganic materials doon na ni-require sa procedure para makita natin kung gaano ba siya kabilis mawala, makatagal mawala in the presence of heat. And of course, this is very obvious picture. Okay? Tandaan po natin na when it comes to the melting point, ito po yung temperatura na kung saan yung solid ay naging liquid. Okay? Temperatura, yung solid naging liquid. It is used to identify and confirm the purity of crystalline substances like drugs or poisons. So, para magets natin, dun sa experiment, gumamit tayo ng sodium chloride. Pinainitan natin at siya ay nalusaw. Yung basis natin ay 3 minutes. Para malaman yung pagkalusaw ng sodium chloride. Please memorize that one. Of course, we are familiar with this picture, the boiling point. Ito naman yung temperature kung saan yung liquid naging vapor. Every time na nagpapakulo tayo ng tubig bago maligo, that is boiling point. So, ina-identify natin yung mga volatile liquids, fuels, alcohols, or solvents na pwedeng matagpuan sa crime scene. Ginagamit din natin ito sa distillation process for separating and purifying chemical evidence. In relation to our experiment, ilang ml ang tubig ang ginamit natin? 2 ml. Pinakuluan natin, tapos ikinumpara lang natin siya sa kapareho niyang solvent, which is the ethyl alcohol. And there should be a difference. Ang goal lang natin, ang hanap lang natin, ano bang mas mabilis kumulo? Water, alcohol. Yun lang. Ano ba yung ating basis sa pagpapakulo? Of course, heat. Ba? At ano ba yung ating ideal temperature ng boiling point? 100 degrees Celsius. Sa 100 degrees Celsius ba, kapag kukulo na ba ang alcohol? Kukulo na ba ang tubig? Or bago pa mag 100 degrees Celsius, nakakulo na. Okay? Those are the things that we did. Of course, combustibility is the ability to catch fire, okay, and burn. Arson investigation, identification of materials or fueled by a fire. It assists also in reconstructing fire scenes by analyzing burn patterns and residue. For example, we detect gasoline traces on debris indicates deliberate ignition. Ito ba ay kasunog-sunog o hindi? Yun lang naman yung purpose ng combustibility. In relation to our experiment, please memorize 10 drops of 0.5 molar HCl is used. No? Place in evaporating dish, and in combustibility, we just observe the color. Yung proseso, ginawa lang ulit natin. Ano ang kulay ni ethanol sa flame? And then, ano ang kulay ni hexane sa flame? Sino ang mas mabilis masunog? Between ethanol and hexane. Yun lang. Yung purpose. Big idea ng experiment na to. Just to give you a facts about the two substances, when we say ethanol, please memorize C2H5OH, highly combustible yan. So, di hamak dapat, bago pa siguro lumapit yung apoy, lumiyab na siya. Kasi sabi dyan, it easily catches fire when exposed to an open flame or spark. It vaporizes, and then of course, pale blue ang kulay niya as usual. No? And when it comes to hexane, it is highly combustible too. And it ignites. Okay? And burns with a vigorous flame. Okay? So, yung isa, masusunog lang. Yung isa naman, kikinang pa. Next, we proceed on experiment 7, the separation techniques that is used in organic chemistry. Tandaan natin, pag sinabi natin extraction, liquid to liquid yan. Separation, to remove or isolate substance from one liquid phase into another. Ang principle niyan, like dissolves like. When a mixture is shaken with another immiscible liquid, one that doesn't mix, like oil and water. Kapag hindi magkaka-vibes yung mga solvents, hindi pa rin sila magsasama-sama kahit na pinaghalo-halo mo sila. So, the goal now of extraction is basically, i-separate mo yung mixture. It is the most common laboratory technique, no? Especially if the context is separation. In our experiment, we use and mix aqueous water-based solution containing organic compound with a diethyl ether, and then what we did was the organic compound may dissolve in the ether layer while impurities stay in the water layer. So there should be a separation and there should be a two compounds. Ano ba ang purpose niyan? Isolate drugs. Please highlight. Extract alcohols, narcotics, peptides. Okay? So, parang yung habol natin, may possibility, the extraction should ask us the question, ito ba nakatiting na kapiraso ng isang solid na ito na itinabsaw mo, nilagay mo doon sa mismong liquid component na hindi mo na makita, pwede ko pa ba na ma-extract? Okay? So, that is the idea. Lang naman kamayin mo, hindi. So, that's the purpose of chemistry tools. Okay? Kasi pwede mo na ma-extract yung katiting o na kapiraso, no, ng butil, okay, ng solute na yon. That is through extraction. Please memorize the procedure with it. Pinakuluan mo ang tubig, nilagyan mo ng sodium bicarbonate, hinalo mo. Pagkalusaw ng sodium bicarbonate, i-add mo si kape. O, di ba? Ang daling i-memorize. Tapos ka na sa procedure 1. Siyempre, may apoy dyan. Then, pasok ka ng procedure 2. Mixture na sila ngayon. Kasi, kape, tubig, sodium bicarbonate. Okay? Ngayon, haluan mo ng ethyl acetate. Pagkatapos, i-mix mo. And then, you refer to your manual kung ano po yung nasa ibabaw, kung ano yung nasa ilalim. Because sa pagkakaalam ko, it should be the ethyl acetate ang nasa ibabaw at kape ang nasa ilalim. Tapos, kukunin mo lang yung nasa lower layer, dapat maiwan po yung ethyl acetate. Tapos, nilagyan mo ng tinatawag natin na anhydrous sodium sulfate. I-mix mo. Pagkatapos, kunin mo yung filtrate and then, pakuluan mo into water bath. And as you can see, from that filtrate, which is liquid in nature, you may be able to acquire caffeine. Okay? Upon drying, we dried through water bath. So here, okay, please consider this is a pre-lab / post-lab of our experiment in the laboratory. If you prepare for a quiz midterms, okay, please refer na lang po dito kasi it's the same thing naman, no? We just performed 6 and 7. This was postponed, itong experiment 8 to 9 due to the earthquake, and we will be performing this on Thursday. So consider this as our pre-lab. It talks about sublimation and recrystallization. So what is recrystallization? The keyword is crystallization. Yung isang substance or compound tumigas. The addition of prefix re, you repeat it again. You're gonna crystallize that thing again. And basically the idea is from being impure to pure. Okay? You'll get this compound who is impure impure, and then gagawin natin siyang puro. Paano? Recrystallize mo. Dissolve solid in hot solvent, then let things cool to recrystallize. Grabe, no? Sa madaling salita, buwisitin mo muna. Galitin mo siya. Inisin mo siya. Pagkatapos, magsusorry ka. O, di ba? Parang nanlalait ka eh. Parang ganun ba? Yung bang tipong kapag punong-puno na siya sa'yo, punong-puno na siya sa'yo, nagre-red ka na, di ba? Tapos bigla ka niyang yayakapin. What will you feel? Di ba? You will be, you will cool down. And then, sige na nga, sorry na. Di ba? Parang ganun lang yan. Sometimes we do recrystallization application person to person. So, what is the main idea of this one? It is a method of purifying the solid by heating them until they turn into vapor. Tapos, kolektahin mo ulit. Okay? Tapos, palamigin. O, di ba minsan talaga maganda kapag cold ka din. Kasi, ikaw ay bunga ng purification. Okay? Pag halimbawa lumamig ka na, you are purified. Pakitanda na, may solid na. Pinakuluan mo pa, ininit mo lang. Binadtrip mo lang siya. Tapos, palalamigin mo. Ito din, para ma-separate mo at ma-purify mo yung mga substance na gusto. Ikot lang kayo sa idea ng impure to pure. Yun lang. It is a process where a solid changes directly into a gas without passing through the liquid state. Okay? So, if we recall our first discussion on matter, ang matter talaga is solid, liquid, gas, plasma. Matter is everywhere. Matter is changing. We can transform matter through this process and methods. Solid to gas, liquid to gas, liquid to liquid, solid to solid. Pwede. What is the forensic and criminology significance? Of course, evidence purification. It is used to purify organic solids like naphthalene, iodine, and camphor by separating volatile substances from non-volatile impurities. Pwede rin natin matulungan yung mga forensic chemists, no? To get an accurate, no, chemical testing. And please take note that sublimation, okay, can also identify unknown compounds based on the temperature. Of course, drug analysis as well as explosive residue testing. It is also applicable to crime scene investigation, wherein the iodine sublimation is used in latent fingerprint development, where you allow the iodine vapors, no, to react with the skin oils as well as to or in document examination to detect the hidden fingerprints or residues. Okay, by the way, just to reiterate and clarify, no, the topic that I discussed earlier is both sublimation and recrystallization. Yung una kong sinabi ay sublimation. Ito na ngayon ang recrystallization. No? Sublimate. Keyword, solid to gas. May transformation ng solid to gas. Through that way, pwede ka pa rin mag-recrystallize. Recrystallize, alisin mo yung impurities ng solid. Kasi dinidissolve mo pa rin yung solid naman in a hot solvent. So, almost the same, pero ito na lang tandaan nyo, sublimation, yung isang solid, diretso ka agad sa gas. Pagkatapos palamigin mo, magiging solid. Ito naman, yung solid, idaan mo sa apoy. Palamigin mo, may pure crystal. Yung isa, direkta. Yung isa, pinapaapoyan. Recrystallization yan. Gusto mo maging puro? Dumaan ka sa apoy. Dumaan ka sa pagsubok. Parang ganun din. Halimbawa yung jamon. Diba? Jamon, diba? Puro yan. Pinapadan mo yan sa apoy. Dinudurog-durog mo yan. Gets? It is used to obtain pure drug crystals from impure or mixed samples for accurate chemical identification. Identification of substances. Of course, the melting point of the recrystallized product can confirm a substance's purity and identity. Toxicology and narcotics testing. Isolation and purification of illegal drugs or poisons for crime scene investigations. Alright, malapit na tayo. Boiling point. It is a classic laboratory technique used to determine the boiling point of a liquid. It uses a small capillary tube attached to a thermometer. The method relies on the definition of boiling point as the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid equals the external pressure, known as the atmospheric pressure. So, ito yung setup. Ang point lang naman na tinignan natin dyan, kada bula na mailalabas ng capillary tube, i-monitor mo. Nagbubuga yan ng bula every time na tumataas ang temperature. Pag bumula yan, inote mo kaagad kung anong temperature sa bumula. Yun lang yun. Kaya nga siya, boiling point by capillary method. Okay? Yan yung ayos. Kaya nga kung mapapansin ninyo doon sa inyong procedure, ang daming nakatabulate dyan, no? Tapos isusulat mo lang naman yung temperature niya. Halimbawa, water 100 degrees Celsius, tapos ethanol 90 degrees Celsius. Paano mo yun nalaman? Kada buga ng capillary tube. Next, fractional distillation na tayo. Okay, ito po yung medyo mahaba-habang process, pero pwede nyong basahin ng paunti-unti po doon sa ating procedure. So, ito yung mga kailangan natin. Thermometer, distilling flask, Bunsen burner, condenser, Liebig, receiving flask, as well as distillate. And of course, you have the iron, no? Iron stand, iron clamp. And please be careful kapag inaayos nyo ito kasi yung condenser Liebig, mahal na mahal po yan. Well, kung gusto nyo magbasag or kung gusto nyo basagin, of course, di ba? Maghati-hati naman kayo. So, every time, no, always ensure na makapit po yung iron clamp. Hahawakan niya talaga yung condenser Liebig, parang yung paghahawak niya sa'yo. Okay? And then, please attach also, yan. Please secure also the connection of thermometer in distilling flask. By grupo kayo, so laging dahan-dahan at lagi pong maayos, no? Maayos dapat ang ating setup. Bawal mabasag, tandaan niyo po yan. I always say that, no? Actually, ang point nyo lang dyan, kuha kayo ng tubig. Ito, di ba yung thermometer, meron siyang, of course, pang-measure ng temperature. Si distilling flask kasi, siniseparate niyan yung mga mixtures of liquid. Siyempre, painitin mo para mag-boil. Ang goal ni Bunsen burner, maglalabas siya ng apoy. And si condenser Liebig naman, okay, condenses the vapor and turn into a liquid. Again, the role of condenser Liebig is it condenses the vapor and turn into liquid. Vapor to liquid, lalamig. And then there is another Erlenmeyer flask to collect the condensate. And then there is a distillate container, okay, that also collect the condensate. So, ano pong point natin? Papakulo ka ng tubig. I-absorb mo yung vapor. Yung vapor na, yung kapira-piraso ng vapor na yun, ipunin mo lang. That's how purification takes place. Kaya nga siya tinawag na distillation. Di ba familiar kayo sa distilled water? Because distilled water undergo distillation process. Tubig na nga yan, pinakuluan mo pa, kinulong mo yung vapor, para lahat ng mga vapor or usok, kasi mga microparticles yan eh. Lahat ng mga nakulong, magiging tubig lang din. Lahat ng mga tubig na yun, puro. Parang sa buhay lang din yan, class, no? May mga bagay talaga na kailangan mong masaktan. May mga bagay na kailangan mong umiyak. Kailangan mong i-shaken. Kailangan mong i-move. Kailangan mong mawasak para lumabas yung tunay na ikaw. Just like the butterfly. Diba? Caterpillar, ang bagal-bagal. No? Gagapang-gapang lang yan, tapos ang pangit. Pero alam nyo ano yung lesson? It takes time. Na yung caterpillar ng pangit-pangit magiging pinakamagandang butterfly. Na ikaw gagapang-gapang ka pero ngayon lilipad ka. So parang ganoon. Paano ka ba mapuro? Ito rin ang tubig. Distillation process. Tubig na nga. Iboboil mo pa. Ikulong mo yung usok. Palamigin mo. Kunin mo yung mga naipon na condensate. Meron ka ng distillation process. It is a laboratory industrial technique used to separate a mixture of liquids that have different boiling points. The method relies on repeated vaporization and condensation. Siyempre, vaporization, pabugahan mo para may lumabas na usok. Ganun lang siya. Inside a tall fractionating column. Kaya nga fractional eh. Okay? Fractional. Ibig sabihin, if a fraction mo, kuha, through distillation process, pipira-pirasuhin mo pa. Ganun ang purification. It's a long, long process. That's why it's a bi-group, no? And for the principle, pakibasa, pakipost nyo to, pakimemorize. Usually, ginagamit natin si fractional distillation, yan, sa crude oil, yan, gasoline, kerosene, diesel, and purification of chemicals, no? And preparing solvents and reagents. Again, malabo yung kanina, so ito po yung malinaw na larawan. Alright, we're done. Thank you very much for listening. God bless. See you around.